The 7.4 update is the most expansive update of recent time. It will add a lot of features, including the new game modes, new maps, and 2 new tank branches. These branches contain French self-propelled guns and tank destroyers. During this episode, we are going to overview French TDs, and in the next episode, we will have a closer look at the SPGs. We hope that this will help you when deciding which new vehicles to research. French TDs are a mixture of American dynamics in both armor and accuracy and have the detection ability comparable to that of German vehicles. At first glance, the Renault FTAC has only one similarity with some of the high-tier German heavy tanks: a severe lack of speed. Fortunately, this is the only vehicle in the branch which has such a low speed. The weapon is similar to the Panzerjäger's gun. The TDs of other nations might have some problems with Tier 3 or Tier 4 tanks, but the French TD has got a high penetration potential, so it can easily destroy higher tier tanks. To sum it up, this tank is quite a hidden gem. Even after researching other TDs from this branch, we'd recommend you save it in your garage because the gameplay with this tank is really pretty fantastic. The next vehicle in the branch is the Renault UE57. This tank destroyer has got all the benefits of its predecessor, while the number of shortcomings is greatly reduced. The Renault UE57 has got a weapon similar to the T82. It has high accuracy, as well as a great penetration potential. However, you might have some problems with penetration of Tier 5 heavy tanks if you fire at the tank's frontal armor. The high rate of fire compensates for the relatively low damage and is definitely one of the biggest advantages of this tank. In addition, its small size makes hiding behind bushes really easy. You may have some problems with firing from hillside spots because the Renault UE57 has limited gun elevation. The horizontal gun traverse is normal, but the vertical elevation is quite poor. The next tank after Renault is Samuwa S40. It looks like a simple tank, and you might even think that it has got strong frontal armor. Unfortunately, it is not true. Only the Su-85B and M8A1 have a lower amount of armor. In addition, the other characteristics of this tank are not particularly great either. This tank's weapon has got quite good accuracy, but it is not amazing. Also, the penetration potential is not as good as its predecessor. The average penetration is about 100 mm, so it is really hard to fight against Tier 6 or Tier 7 tanks. You should use careful tactics when playing the Samuwa S40. You want to survive, so you should make good use of your low detection chance. It is easy to aim at your targets when you are hiding behind bushes without getting spotted. Be warned, other tank destroyers of this tier also have a low chance to be detected. This tank is also equipped with an additional weapon in order to fire high explosive ammunition. The Heitzer and the T82 have guns of the same type. It is a good idea to use composite rigid ammunition because the Samuwa S40 will have enough penetration potential to destroy about 350 hit points. Unfortunately, firing with high explosive ammunition will not bring you good results due to the low damage. So if you are not planning to buy composite rigid ammunition, you'd better use the 75mm gun. This tank does have benefits though, and one of them is the amazing gun elevation. You can easily elevate your gun to the top, just like an SPG. Unfortunately, you can't fire artillery style. So this good vertical elevation gives you the opportunity to fire at enemies from spots located on hills. If you are on a hill, it gives you the chance to shoot at enemies that are located on the opposite hill, like at Westfield or El Haluf. It is this ability that makes the Samuwa S450 stand out from most tanks in the game. In conclusion, this tank destroyer has got quite a unique dynamic. Its speed limit is about 37 km/h, even if it's driving on a hill. The Samuwa S40 is a great example of a French TD, and the next tanks in the line will continue to improve. The S-35CA is the next tank in this branch. It has thick armor and standard movement. However, this tank has got a powerful weapon which can deal about 300 damage with an average penetration of 165 millimeter. This is an incredibly high value for this tier. This TD has similarities to the Su-85. These great characteristics are balanced by the rate of fire, which is only 5.5 rounds per minute, and an average accuracy of 0.41 meters. The S-35 hasn't got the greatest accuracy or rate of fire, so the main benefit of this TD is the ability to deal high damage. This vehicle has got an unusual horizontal gun elevation. If you turn the gun to the left, you will find that the traverse is quite poor. However, there is a lot of space to aim your gun to the other side. This feature shouldn't bring you any discomfort, and you can easily get used to it. The S-35 is not the best example of a typical French TD because it hasn't got a good rate of fire or accuracy, but this vehicle still remains powerful and is interesting to play. The next TD, the ARL V-39, is a great example of a French tank destroyer. The ARL V-39 has got high accuracy as well as good maneuverability and speed. You should use all your knowledge of hiding behind bushes and of the maps to unlock the full potential of this tank. The average penetration of this tank's gun is 212 millimeters, and the accuracy is about 0.36 meters. So you can easily penetrate even Tier 9 heavy tanks by simply aiming for weak spots. Of course, you will not have any problems with low-tier tanks. In addition, ARL V-39 has got the perfect DPM. It can deal 240 damage, and the rate of fire is 7 rounds per minute. This TD has got quite a small size and a low chance of being detected as well. Its speed limit is 42 kilometers per hour, and the tank's front armor is fairly thick, so try and use this tank's strength to your advantage. The ARL V-39 is a tank destroyer which has a little of something for every type of player. It's got a lot going for it. After researching the AMX ACMLE 1946, you may realize that the ARL V-39 is not as good as it seemed to be because this new TD is even better than its predecessor. The accuracy of the tank's gun is 0.34 meters, and the average penetration is 232 millimeters. This weapon can deal 300 damage, and its rate of fire is about 7 rounds per minute, so you can easily destroy Tier 10 tanks. This means you will own if you are the top tank in the battle. It will be hard for Tier 7 tanks to penetrate you because this tank has 120 millimeter of armor on its front. The magnificent accuracy and the great DPM are the main features of French tank destroyers. The maximum speed of the AMX ACMLE 1946 is 50 kilometers per hour, so a quick change of your spot will be easy for you. In addition, you can defend yourself from light tanks by dodging their flanking maneuvers. The downside of the AMX ACMLE 1946 is that this vehicle is quite an easy target for artillery due to the low side armor of the tank. Many SPGs can even one-shot this tank. The main bulk of the armor is on the front of the vehicle, and the side armor will not offer much protection. Unfortunately, artillery will usually deal full damage using high explosive ammunition, which could mean the end of your tank destroyer. That is why players should always utilize spots that are out of reach of the artillery. The AMX ACMLE 1946 has similarities to the German Jagd Panther, but the Panther has a lower penetration potential, as well as a lower chance of being detected due to its small size. However, the gameplay is quite similar, so all fans of the Jagd Panther will definitely like the new French tank destroyers. Nobody would deny that the AMX ACVLE 1948 is similar to the previous vehicle, except for a change in some characteristics. This tank is equipped with a 120mm gun, which can deal 400 damage and has an average penetration of 267mm. This makes the weapon somewhat similar to the Jagd Tiger's gun. The tank is able to destroy enemy vehicles from long range because its rate of fire is about 6 rounds per minute. It should be noted that this vehicle is not as effective in close combat because only low-tier tanks might have a problem with penetrating the front armor. In addition, the tank has inherited the same weakness to enemy SPGs from the AMX MLE. The tank only has 1,000 hit points, which is the lowest among all Tier 8 TDs. This means that the T-92 could one-shot this vehicle. Even the Su-8 and M41 could do it, if they get lucky. The AMX was created for players who prefer long-range battles and the fast changing of spots. It features a speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour. This makes the tank versatile in many different in-game situations. The Tier 9 tank destroyer has even better characteristics than its predecessor. First, the amount of hit points is much larger, 1,600 hit points. Secondly, the accuracy is much improved. Not only is this TD one of the most accurate Tier 9 tanks, it also has one of the most accurate tanks in the whole game. The aiming speed of the AMX-50 Foch's gun is quite low, and the rate of fire is about 7 rounds per minute, with the ability to deal 400 damage with every shot. This makes this TD similar to the German Tier 9 TD, but with very different maneuverability and speed. The AMX-50 Fouch was created for experienced players who can use all the mobility and accuracy of this TD. You can fight against enemies at 500-meter range without any problems on the bigger maps, while on the small maps, you can use your maneuverability to prevent any flanking maneuvers against you. This tank has 180 millimeter of armor on the front. It's going to be pretty hard to penetrate that sort of armor for most tanks. The AMX-50 Fouch is the best example of a French tank destroyer. Every tank in this branch was created for dynamic gameplay. These vehicles are not the type of tanks that can just stay behind the nearest bushes. You can and you must help your allies by supporting the assault. However, unlike the T-95, the AMX-50 Fouch isn't able to hold the whole flank alone due to the low amount of armor. In conclusion, the French tank destroyers are one of the hardest branches for playing, but if you have enough patience to train and practice a lot, you will definitely be able to capitalize on the strengths of these tanks. French tank destroyers have the potential to destroy everything in sight. Good luck on the battlefield.